What's going on, guys? I'm back here with another profile. I woke up early. It's like 10:30 in the morning. Yeah, stupid. But we're going to talk about a ban list. It's that time of the year where we get into that kind of stuff. And first we need to talk about this is not a ban list prediction video, by the way. This is a discussion on what I think could happen, not necessarily what should happen or will happen. That's the difference between a ban list prediction video. It's a prediction. You're making a guess on what you think will happen. It's like being a weatherman. You can guess all you want, but not necessarily going to be true. But I got my handy dandy little notebook here. I've been writing some things down. I've been checking out the OCG list, our lists. I have our list right here next to me on the screen here, and we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple of things. This is not in any particular order. It's just a random collective mess of stuff. But things I can see happening. The OCG got Zenmighty to 1, but they also banned Hunter. I could see us getting Zenmighty to 1. I don't think we necessarily need to ban Hunter, because the reason why that loop was so stupid was because 3 Hunters and 3 Zenmighties. Even when we got Zenmighty to 1, the deck wasn't that good. And I think even now, yeah, it is a rank 3 to 5 toolbox. Which, with Shockmaster gone, they can't Shockmaster you, which is one of the reasons why the deck was really good, and I just don't think it's just not that good of a card anymore. The deck in general is just not that good. They also got Sacred Sacred Swords of the 7 Stars, or whatever. The one that played Dragon Rulers. They got that to 2. I could also see us getting that to 2, maybe even 3, because the only deck that played it was Dragon Rulers. The only thing that can play it now is like Prophecies, Girgias, anything that can play 7s, really, and that's really about it. Mermills can play it, but they kind of need their Megalos and their Teuses and all that other stuff, and their lead and their title. They kind of need those to make any kind of big play, because that's all they really have. So getting rid of those is kind of not necessarily a plus on there. And yeah, they'll draw 2 cards, but hopefully they could draw another Megalo or another rank 7, level 7 they can go into. They got Dad at 2. Why Dad is still sitting at 1 isn't interest to me. It's definitely not worthy of being at 3 by any means, but it's also, it could go to 2, because it doesn't see play now. The only deck that's really that's dark, that's really, really good right now is Evil Swarms, and even cards that are decks that are getting more support, like Glad Beast, which we'll talk about in a minute. They don't have darks. Dolces aren't dark. Yeah, Evil Storms, Ghost Tricks maybe can play it, but even then, you have to draw Dad, and you have to have 3 darks in your graveyard. You can't have any more or any less, and then you have to banish the darks that are in your graveyard. So, Bestiary can go to 2, not 3, because that'd be stupid. I can see it going to 2. They got it to 3, I think. They didn't get it this list. They got it last list. So they got it in January. They got Bestiary to 3. And I think that's kind of dumb, because they are getting more support. They're getting, what's his name? I itch on my neck. What's that new guy? I don't know, the big winged guy. He's like level 6 or some shit. I don't know. They also got Grandma to 3. I can see that going to 3 or 2. It's a really, really good card. It's kind of dumb at 1 anyway, even though I know it's playing it. It's a super tech card. It stops everything, but at the same time, you have to find room for it. And everything is archetype specific, so unless you're playing New Vespasians, I mean, which kind of dumb. But like everything's, like I said, they're trying to promote archetype, so they need to put those dumb little cards to 1 or to 3. Like Gores can go to 3. No one's playing Gores. There's way too much back row in this format, because since Heavy Storm's gone, everybody's setting everything. Speaking of back row, Sphere can go to 1, because that's stupid. Abyss Teus can go to 1, because it's also stupid. That deck is just, how that deck is on topping right now, every single form, every single tournament. Oh, it's really bright outside. How that deck is on topping every single tournament it goes to is just beyond me. I think the wrong players are playing it. Wolfbark can go to 1. I could see it going to 1. The card is, it's a rank 4 generic toolbox. It's a one card toolbox, which is stupid. All you have to do is have 1 in your graveyard. of any Fire Fist monster, or even another Wolf Bark. It's a really dumb card. It should have never really been... I can't really say it should never be made, because it's very limited. You have to play it in a level 4 Fire Beast Warrior deck, which is Fire Fist. You have to play it in that deck. And I was kind of hoping when it was announced that they were going to come out with a new archetype of, like, Coach Soldiers, because we got that bear thing, and it was kind of dumb. But it just never went off anywhere, which is kind of good, because it'd probably be a really bad archetype. Tenki, I am a Fire Fist player. Anybody who knows me knows I love that deck. Tenki needs to go to 1 or 2. Yeah, there's an argument that it can be stopped with Dark Bribe and MST and Twister and Dust Tornado and all these cards that can stop it, but like it's a card that could definitely be handled relatively easily, and I think that's why it should go to 1, because it's just you top deck it and you win. It was more or less top decking Rhoda back when we had the Warrior Toolbox. So I don't know if I said mistake to 1. Because it's kind of stupid. I think that card is just really dumb. Any card that really stops your opponent from playing the game, even though it stops both of you, but all you gotta do is play Mistake in a deck that doesn't add to your hand. Like my buddy Adam plays Mistake in his Raccoons. He never adds anything to his hand, and I think in that instance it's kind of unfair. And it's more or less the same thing as Macro and D-Fissure going to 1. If you don't rely off your graveyard, of course you're going to play those cards. Why wouldn't you play those cards? You're stopping all the best decks in the format. Stratos. Let's talk about heroes. They suck. I was a hero player for the longest time. That card is not ban-worthy. It's not. It was fine at 1. The deck, even then, maybe got lucky to top a regionals here or there, but that was because it was a fluke and no one was prepared for it. Yeah, Super Poly is stupid. It's really, really, really stupid. And I think if you put Stratos to 1, you're going to have to do the whole E-Call to 2, a hero lives to 2, and you have to do all that over again. And I think they're just tired of doing that. And I think the reason why they banned Stratos is because if you put Stratos to 0, or you ban it, it allows you to put those other cards, E-Call and a hero lives to 3, so they can make room on the list to put other cards on the list. You see what I'm saying? So in order to get rid of Stratos, you free up room on the list for cards that are worthy to be on the list. And that's another thing we have to talk about. If you can't just put cards on the list, limited, semi-limited, or banned. You can't just put them on there without putting something off or moving something around. It's stupid. You can't have a list that has 115 cards on it or whatever and just keep adding to it. You have to eventually take something off. That's why they pull banned cards to 1 and they put other cards on the list. You just can't do that. Even though when they hit Dragon Rulers, it was just a shock to everybody. And that's why it was such a big, like I said, a big shock, because they put them all to 1 and the babies were already banned, and then they banned Return, they banned Ravine, they banned everything under the sun. They banned the whole deck. So, like I said, Stratos can go to 1. It won't really do anything, but you have to put E-Call to 2 and a hero lives to 2, and because it would be kind of unbalanced at that point. With, like I said, with Super Poly and Miracle Fusion, everything at 3 and Stratos at 1, the deck would be really, really good. And the reason why is because we don't have Dragon Rulers anymore, and we don't have. It's an archetype. Heroes are an archetype, and everything. That's all they're trying to do. Like I said earlier, is promote archetypes. Let's move on. Tragodia to 3, because Tragodia is not really all that good anymore. Yeah, it's a fantastic card. It's great in like Chaos decks, Chaos Dragons, Chaos Agents, anything that can play Dark and Light monsters. It's going to be really good because it gives you BLS targets and Chaos Sorcerer targets, and the card is all around really good. But at the same time, it's not a game-changing card. If you're using Trag, you're protecting yourself 9 times out of 10. You're never going to use it offensively until after you use it defensively. So obviously you're going to have to take some damage in order to play Trag, and once you play Trag, then you can make your pluses a turn after. But if the player's good, they know how to play around Trag. Trag's not that hard of a card to play around, and I think putting it to the 3 would give us the space we need to put some other cards on the list. Like I said, Tenki back on the list, Mistake back on the list, and things like that. Mirror Force can go to 3. Because it's just whatever. It's Mirror Force. It's a really good card. But we'll go back to that in a second because there's that and more other thing I want to talk about. Rescue Rabbit can go back to 2 because it's not a game-changing card right now. The only deck that can play is Evil Swarms unless you want to play Macro Rabbit again. And Macro Rabbit's just really not good anymore. Yeah, Dolka and Lagia are really fucking good, but they're just not nearly as good as what they were back 2 years ago or a year and a half ago or whatever, 2 years ago. Firefist Spirit can go back to 2 or 3. Because obviously if we were going to hit Wolfbark and Tenki, that card's not nearly as good as what we thought it was going to, as we would want it to be with those cards at 2 and 3. I know that was kind of jumbled. It's early for me. But if we hit Wolfbark to 1, then that kind of knocks out the whole rank 4 engine, more or less. Then what do they really have? You have the rank 3 engine, so that's why I think it can be moved up or down. And the same thing with Tenki, you're not searching for it as much, and the card's really not the best card in the world anyway. I mean, yeah, it's a rank 3, it's not a rank 3, it's a, what's his name, a Horse Prince. It's an instant Horse Prince, but that's it, that's all you're going to do, it's Horse Prince with it. Mirror Force, Pendulum Summoning is coming out within, I think, before the year's over, I'm pretty sure, because I think they get it in the next couple months, so we might get it before the year's over. I don't remember. But if you put Mirror Force to 3, that would help against the defense of the whole Pendulum Summoning and blow up the field with a shit ton of monsters. I'm going to drop 5 monsters from my fucking hand, and then I'm going to attack you with all of them. And then that's where Mirror Force comes into play, because you have to stop those big pushes. Because if they hit you with all 5 of those monsters, or they just special summon with Pendulum Summoning, it's going to fucking hurt. And it's going to be game-changing. And that's why I think Torrential Tribute can go to 3 eventually, not now, because it doesn't need, because before we get Pendulum Summoning, there'll be another list. So we don't need TT at 3 now, because it would be stupid. That's why they got it at 3 now, is because of the whole Pendulum Summoning. They'll be getting it before us, obviously, so we'll get to see how they play around with it first. And so that's why they got it first. But we don't need it now, because that helps promote fucking Fire Kings being stupid. And even if you hit Tenki and Wolfbark, they don't care. Fire Kings don't give a shit about Tenki and Wolfbark, because they search generically with all of their cards anyway. So, some other things. Mind Crush. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. That card is really, really good. Everybody's main decking it right now. Even I'm main decking it. I'm going to be that guy and say I am. Yeah, right there, second card, Mind Crush. Any card that digs to normally that digs into your opponent's hand is on the ban list. I mean, just as some examples, the Forceful Sentry banned. What are the other ones? Not Painful Choice. Delinquent Duo banned. Pretty much anything that's just gonna dig into your opponent's hand, does shoot, anything you can see into their hand is gone. Like they don't fuck around with that shit. It's gone. Yeah, Mind Crush, you have to randomly guess a card. It's not like you're digging into their hand, you're looking and then picking one, like with Dust Shoot or the Forceful Sentry. But you're still, like I said earlier, if you're a good player, you know how to play the game. If they're playing Boojins and at the end of the Yamato search, you're like, okay, Mind Crush. You're fucked. What are you going to do? Now you just lost that crane. And now I'm going to win. And I see in your hand, I see you have no other cranes, and now I know how to win the game from here on out. It all boils down to how to play the card and know when to play the card. And that's why I said Mind Crush can go to 1, because it's stupid. But it's not nearly as bad as the other ones. But people who play 3 Mind Crush, it's just stupid. Because you go Mind Crush, even if you randomly guess, turn 1, you draw 2 Mind Crushes, you randomly guess a card. You set everything, you play everything you have, you have no cards in your hand, you go, boom, Mind Crush, I'm just going to guess whatever, you don't have it, whatever, and I'll activate the other Mind Crush calling your 2 Hoot Cakes. What are you going to do now? You fucking lost. You just lost the game. You don't have Hoot Cake anymore in your hand, you're fucked. Or I'm going to call Abyss Megalo, and now you have no engine, you have no longer a target to pitch shit to the graveyard. Now you just have all these dead little guys in your hand. So, I think the last card. Oh no, I think I have like 2 more cards. Thousand Eyes. Thousand Eyes are strict. Because we're gonna get a band card back. It happens. We're gonna get a band card back, hopefully. Because like I said, if we take a card off the ban list, we get to put cards. See my cat right there. If we take a card off the ban list, it allows us to have room to move cards around. So if we take off Thousand Eyes Restrict, I think that's the one card other than Zen Mighty, because it's either Zen Mighty or Restrict for me. Because I think we're more likely to get a monster back than we are going to get one of these busted ass spells or traps. Because usually these spells and traps on the list are pretty stupid, and they should not have been made. And there's a reason why they're on the list, and there's a reason why they're going to stay on the list. Yeah, there's some things like Time Seal, which really isn't that bad unless you play the whole Mask of Darkness, Time Seal, Book of Tayu shit, where you just pretty much just lock your opponent out for like 10, 20 turns, and they can't do anything. But that's just way too inconsistent, and it's too slow, and it's just really bad. Just really bad. So it was good, it's not good anymore. And stuff like Giant Trunade should... Stop saying Giant Trunade should come back, because it shouldn't. It's dumb. Fire Fists, even if you put Tenki to 1, and they have Giant Trunade, that still gives them 2 Giant Trunades, or it gives them 2 Tenkis, and it gives them new targets for their Tensus and their Gyokus, and it's stupid. So stop saying it should come back. It's also really dumb for Fiendish Chains, because Fiendish Chain is really good, but it's also really bad. So they go, Fiendish Chain, you lock something down, they can exceed or synchro with it, or even fusion summon with the monster, and ritual summon whatever. They have ways of getting rid of that monster and then making that Fiendish Chain dead. So if they have Giant Trunade, they can just put it back in their fucking hand and do it again. It's not, because now my dead Fiendish Chain and my dead Call of the Haunteds are no longer dead. I Giant Trunade them back to my hand. That's the reason why Trunade's on the list, and that's why it can stay on the list. Premature Burial can possibly come back. It can be stopped by MST, Dust Tornado, all that other stuff. I don't know why. It's a good card, but I don't think it's ban worthy right now because we don't really have a generic Reborn or a nerfed Reborn right now. Close, stupid. There we go. Well, like I said, 1,000 Eyes Restrict can come back. The only way we really have a way to play it is Instant Fusion. Okay? Instant Fusion and take one of your monsters one time. I can't attack, but then I lose it. So, it's good, but we don't have Metamorphosis. So if Metamorphosis and Restrict are on the list, why don't we just take one of them off? And I think the lesser of the 2 evils is 1,000 Eyes Restrict, because Metamorphosis is stupid with Cyber Dragon stuff. So, because you just go rank 8s, and I just don't want to talk about it, and then you just twin-headed Cyber Dragon and all that other stuff. My video is really long right now. So that's pretty much it. Mind Crush 1, 1,000 Eyes can come back to 1. And the last card we'll talk about or the deck we talk about is Blue Gens. If we hit Tenki, that's really the only card they're really going to touch, and that's kind of unfair if that's the one card you touch, and it's not even a card that the deck needs, because the deck does not need Tenki. It doesn't. Because they have Peacock that does the same thing. You just, even if you're in turn 1, you don't have to go into battle phase. You don't have to make an attack to go into battle phase. Just so you know. So you go battle phase, main phase 2, pitch Peacock, get Yamato, and that's all it takes. Yeah, you can summon the Yamato, but you can't attack. It's just pretty much a limited Tenki for the deck. But it's fine, because if they go to Tenki, they're just going to play Peacock, so it's whatever. And it's a target in the graveyard for Incarnation and all that dumb stuff. But Crane. Crane is stupid. It's not necessarily unfair, because like I said, if you have Mind Crush, you know how to play around that stuff. The deck you can play around the deck. It's not that hard to beat people. It's just a game. So, like I said, that's my list. It's not really my list. It's a collective group of ideas of things that could happen. This is not a prediction. This is not what I think should happen or will happen. This is what I think could happen. So, if you like the video, obviously like it and subscribe and stuff. And I know it's been a while, but I've been busy. So, thanks for watching.